And we're live.
I feel like this new year, no one's going to go to Times Square. Like, the ball's going to drop and be like, thank God.
They're gonna
I've done the last 2 New Year's in New York, and I'm sad. I mean, I'm going to be in Florida for this New Year's.
Yeah,
as if, like, our concept of time and date will have any effect on the natural disasters that have been occurring.
I think everybody will just stand outside and just throw a middle finger up. That'll be the end of 2020.
Boom.
We need to sacrifice something to make all this stop.
Episode 43, kids.
43-ish.
43-ish.
Ish, unless you count the Instagram live sessions.
Mm-hmm.
Looking for revenge.
So for those of you listening to this and not watching it, we have guests. We have
Summer
from DeFalco Reptiles.
Yep.
And we have Ryan Cox.
What up?
The Slayer of the South.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that now. More like the greatest gutter tier reptile.
Specialized fauna, Ryan Cox.
Oh, that's right, it is. It is specialized fauna. Forgive me for that.
Oh, it ain't no big deal. Ain't nothing on there anyway except for pictures of snakes.
It's what we do. That's why we're here. So,
I feel like I need to pick up a smoking habit if I want to talk to you today.
You really should.
Yeah.
I'm pissed that I missed your one cigarette of the year at Daytona.
No, you gave me a cigarette at Daytona. We smoked one together.
When was that?
Oh no!
It was Saturday night.
That was the night of the beach and the drinking and the vodka.
Of the debauchery, yeah.
The debauchery. That's why I don't remember.
No comment. Oh, you see my shirt there, Phil?
Oh, check it out, son. Check it out.
That's good.
The Nepurarus Initiative.
And everyone's like, what's Nepurarus?
Like they're geckos that forgot to see.
It's like these geckos that look like someone took a soldering iron to their tail and it's like a piece of hair and it just like curled up.
It looks like they got a zit on the end of their tail.
Yeah.
I don't like how accurate that is. I don't like it's like a zit on the end of the tail.
Dan joins in.
It is.
Just WAP.
WAP.
Yeah.
Wild ass pythons.
Jinx.
That's it, right there.
That's it.
So you know, we were meant to be friends.
What is that?
What is what?
The thing you're in.
Oh, it's an apple.
It's
Apple.
what? Oh.
Yeah, for like iPads and stuff.
Is it made of real apples?
No, actually, it's made out of watermelon.
Really?
Nice.
So, you know.
Surprised it's not pink.
No, it actually looks like a pineapple. They have to keep it incognito.
Yeah. Discreet. Discretion is the name of our game.
If you're not careful, you'll get turned to a pina colada so fast.
Is it wrong that I find virgin pina coladas ungodly delicious? But
It's
I'm not a
just
pineapple
smoothie.
guy.
what's that?
It's just a smoothie.
I was like,
No, a pina colada.
it's an icy, Phil. It's a fucking icy.
It is an icy. It is.
Hi, Carly Jones. I love my
Carly
life.
Jones in the house.
We
Carly
adopt a child together.
Carly wussed out and should be on the show right now, but she is a wuss and didn't join.
Don't make
We're
me
not
feel
mad,
bad.
we're just disappointed.
Exactly.
We're just let down.
Yeah, we're just disappointed.
Yzma, my cat, is slowly making her way into the living room, and her favorite thing to do is to jump on my computer, so I'm just waiting. She puked on my computer when we were in Daytona.
That's terrifying.
Disgusting. Yeah.
She's the worst. But I can't return her. I've had her for 30 days from the shelter, and they only guarantee you 30 days. She's
Okay.
mine now.
So the four of us are here. Awesome possum. The other individuals from our cream group, do we know that one will be joining?
I have no idea.
You can't say that out loud. We're gonna think we're
Yeah.
crazy.
It's the cream group. That's what it is.
Casey says he's having issues. Send me a Facebook link.
I got him.
Got him. So for those of you who don't know, who don't follow the Herpetoculture podcast, Cream is an adaptation from the Wu-Tang Clan. Instead of cash rules everything around me, it's carpets and or chondros rule everything.
Or colubrids, as we found out.
And now we found out it's colubrids, because ironically, all of us have colubrids, all of us, legitimately. Mm-hmm. So I'm willing to accept it intermittently, but I'm still on team carpet.
Chondros.
I'm non-biased in this. I am Switzerland in this shit.
So then you can vote for colubrids. It's okay.
I'm just saying, I don't have enough experience to say yay or nay, but I'm just saying there's a reason I have 2 rat snakes and only 1 carpet python. It's because they were given to me.
I like my 1 colubrid. What are you saying?
Cox, do you still have the decay snake?
No, it didn't like to move very well at all. So, like, originally in the old place, it was in like a tiny bin that made it feel super secure and safe. And then I think just the move just kind of really rattled it too much, man.
Mm.
It didn't. I think if you had a DKs and you could keep it, because people like put them like 10-gallon tanks and stuff like that. It was literally like a bento box, because DK was tiny. He was in a bento box. And I fed him earthworms that I bought from the bait store. I just calcium dust them every 3 days or so. And I would just literally drop feed him, walk away, and I could sit in the corner of the room, and you could see him like nudge over and slurp down a worm or two, and then go hide again. But I feel like the move just kind of fucked him up too much.
Yeah, he's little.
Hey,
there he is.
Rocking the stash. I do need a mustache.
Yeah, you do.
I'm gonna take this on.
It's funny. There was a snake in the pool earlier, and
is that a euphemism?
Of course, no. But Ellie looked in the skimmer box, and there's the snake, and so she's like opening the skimmer box. She's like, "Oh, there's a snake," and she starts reaching her hand in there, and I'm like, "Stop! This is like my worst fear imagined. Like my kid gets used to snakes." And now when she sees one, regardless of what it is, she's like, I'm going to grab it. So I was like, don't touch it. And she continued to like put her hand in there. And I'm like, stop. Because, we have corals are fairly common around here and copperheads are common. And so stop putting your hand in that. And it turned out to be a little red-bellied. I guess decays if you want to get technical. They're not, but Storaria,
Yeah.
She's about to grab it. And I'm like, before you touch them, like, let me look at it first, please.
I have to tell it to my grandma. She's gotten too comfortable with me sending her pictures of me picking up things. She tried to lift like a big snapping turtle the other day, and I was like, "You are 85 years old. Like, you need to leave it alone."
Wow, that's how Grandma loses a finger.
Yeah, I know. She said she texted me a picture of it, and then she calls me. She's like, "I'm feeding it carrots," and I was like, "Okay." And then she's like, "Should I pick it up?" And I was like, "No, don't do that." It was a decent size,
Nice. You guys just have commons up there?
Well, she's in New York.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, just commons.
Harley apparently wants you to box her up and send her to her.
Yeah, that's fine. She has a lake house. She's
Harley,
cool.
you can't hoard all the grandmas.
We've talked about this.
She has a problem.
I just want to acknowledge Victor. Nice to see you. And Dan, Shaolin Song.
Summer wants to know how the Sanzini are doing, Casey.
Yeah.
I fed them a meal that was way too big, and they seemed to handle it pretty well. I had to unpot a bunch of large rats, and then I was going around feeding stuff, and I just kind of opened it up, and I didn't realize Sanzini are a lot smaller than I kind of thought they were, so I just gave them both large rats, both the adults. And they look very, very full, but I think it's going to work just fine. Nice. It's probably the only meal I'm going to feed them this year. So,
cool. Casey, are you using your phone? Casey, are you using your phone?
I'm using my phone.
Is your phone standing up on something?
Yes. Why?
We can. Because I know.
It sounds like the teacher in Charlie Brown.
Oh yeah, I have this problem a lot. Sorry, I don't have a microphone. I'm going to stand right here. You guys can talk to my forehead the whole time.
Nice. Look at those handsome eyebrows.
Can you do it sideways so the microphone's not hitting the ground?
Yeah, that
I can work. I can try.
Try that.
There we go. Now I'm going vertical. I'm a scrub doing that. How do I sound?
The same.
exactly.
Sound like you're in a shoebox.
Disregard.
All right, I'll stay quiet this episode.
What has happened? You just worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's better.
This is good. I'm pulling myself way closer.
You don't have like a little plug-in headset with a little mic-y thingy
No.
on it? Jeez.
I don't have a podcast.
What do you North Georgia folks up to?
Oh my god.
I don't have a podcast. I'm sorry. I could have like a fancy mic, but
You should start one. I'm not even using it. My mic isn't even working right now. Like my blue mic, for whatever reason, isn't showing up.
I just use the microphone built into the laptop.
Yeah, I don't really like that one.
He's not on a laptop though.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, I could set up all the stuff and use the fancy mics, but then I have to set up all the stuff, which takes all of like 5 minutes. But I'm lazy.
I'll flip too. I got to figure out like how to.
Casey, you sound a lot better.
It does.
I sound a little better. That's good.
That's
Okay,
good.
I'll
Yeah.
just hold this
Right
really
there.
close to my knee.
Just take the
You
phone
do
and shove it in your
look like
mouth.
you're being-
Yeah, like
Yeah,
We
that's
need to,
great.
like-
Like you guys can see my tonsils live from YouTube.
Yeah.
Casey, you look like you're being held
See, look,
hostage.
Summer has a home recording studio, and she lives 2 miles away.
I probably could take advantage of that. She's less than 2 miles away too. I could literally walk to her house and like I don't know where she lives exactly, but
She's within a 2 mile radius.
it's within a 2 mile radius. I know that for a fact because we meet up and look at snakes sometimes.
just start walking.
Yeah,
Get
just
there
like
eventually.
the general direction and like she'll just start screaming from her porch.
We'll just see you take off and you'll be like, Casey, where are you going? I just felt like running.
All of a sudden, he's gonna wake up one morning. He's gonna go out front just to like stretch and smell the morning air, and there's gonna be like an old soup can with a really long string coming out of it. He's like, "What the hell is this?" And like hold it up to his ear and magic.
That's my microphone.
Yeah. By the way, Dan, the answer to your question, DM me on Facebook, and we'll talk about it.
Carlos says Casey and I should start a podcast, but we wouldn't get anything done. We would just spend 45 minutes talking about our love languages. And then
Yeah, I'm way too easily distracted in ADHD for a podcast.
Mhm.
Billy and I joked around about it, like saying we take over the world with it, but I think I get tired of a podcast after like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I'm not that interesting. Like I can tell my same Brettle stories over and over again that like makes for a good one episode, but then you find out I'm kind of like a one-trick pony that only knows like one type of snake.
No. You're very good. Very good.
I dropped something. God dang it. It's so weird because the thing's flipped. But anyway, let's talk about snakes. Let's talk about snakes because I'm
Okay.
distracted.
Who gives
Yeah.
a fuck about snakes in this group? What the hell?
You're right. This is the Neon Tetra group.
Yeah.
Hey, betas only. I may be wearing a Morelia House shirt right now, but still, betas only, fucker.
That's
Repping
good.
Brandon
You're making me
Wheeler.
kind of want fish, man.
Dude, they're so fun. Like literally today, I would spent I woke up way too goddamn early for it to be a day off, and I was just sitting there like looking at betas online because like their genetics are crazier than ball pythons.
Mhm.
It's insane,
That's not possible.
dude. They have jumping genes. I don't understand how that works.
What do you mean jumping? Elaborate.
It's okay. So there's a gene called marble, which apparently the story of it is weird because like a guy in prison discovered it because he's breeding betas in peanut butter jars. It's already a strange story, but apparently the gene
What?
has it's crazy. It's so weird. But so apparently, from what I've been reading, the marble gene is a dominant style gene. But the problem is every time they try to because I guess they must have the genome of betas like sequence or whatever, like they can't pinpoint where it is, and it's always they find it in multiple locations all the time. So, and it's apparently jumping gene is actually like a thing that has been documented with other stuff. But
Yeah, they
like,
have it in zebrafish. I've heard of this.
yeah, it's like once it's introduced to a bloodline, you can never erase it. So you never cross it with the marble gene because like once he's got marble in there, everything is marble from there on out.
James Lewis.
What's funny is my friends Matt and Jamie, they're very big into birds, and they were explaining to me that like the way that we as herpers and fish people look at genetics, we simplify it unknowingly, and apparently bird people are like overly complex with genetics for whatever reason. So like what we would consider like codom, like it doesn't exist in birds, I guess. They have like another term for it, and it's broken down into different categories and like way above my pay grade because A, I'm not a big bird guy at all, but and B,
You don't like Big Bird?
I mean he was all right.
You're an asshole.
Snuffleupagus is my homie. Just saying. Call it like I see it.
Oh, I
I'm
thought
gonna
you
take
were
a shot for every dad joke. I'm gonna die.
Yeah, that'll happen tonight.
Don't do that. Please don't. I don't want to see Casey lose a shoe.
No, it happens.
Yeah, but Tom found it in a creek, 3,000 miles away.
She did find it in the creek.
It's still there for you.
How creepy would that be if it showed up on your doorstep?
Billy and I joked around about that. Like, what if we come back next year for Daytona and it just washes up on the beach? The very next
message
day.
attached to it.
I gotta be honest. I was like Sunday. I was gonna try and do it, and the logistics were just not there. I was gonna try and find your other sandal, the one you did lose, take a picture of it on my phone, buy a pair of them, and then like bring it to the beach and like down by me, like get it all messed up and like gritty and sandy and dirty, and then mail it to you, and then be like, look what I found. In full water.
It's a long game.
So Ryan, going back to fish, have you seen what the koi people do? Apparently, when they want to get like a very specific kind of pattern in it, they will take a razor blade and like cut some of the colored scales off the fish. It's like it looks terrible. Like I can't believe they do it.
So they skin them?
Yeah, they peel off like a layer of scales. Where like if they want the fish to have like the Japanese flag on the side and it's got like a square instead of a circle, they'll go with a razor blade and like cut off some of the orange. Like it's brutal. I can't believe they do it. Apparently it's like a big problem they're having over in the Asian fish markets where
Wow.
Yeah.
And I thought people smuggling Asian arowanas from Canada was a problem, but holy shit, now they're mutilating fish. I've heard like the tattooing and stuff where they take lasers and they tattoo like mollies and stuff to like. I read this thing the other day. It was like tattooed like molly fish, so people will like. Some guy will go to propose to his wife who's really into fish, so he'll like have to call this person up at his lab and he'll like, yeah, can you tattoo 20 of these mollies to say, will you marry me, so I can give them to my wife? And then so they'll pay like $90 a piece for these laser etched mollies.
Wow.
My wife loves fish. Do you mind mutilating a couple of these fish so I can show her I love her?
Yeah, can you please make them suffer so I can show her how much I care?
I know the premise is to put like "Will you marry me" on like all the fish, but in my head it's just one letter on every fish, and it's like a puzzle that she's got to figure out.
Anagram.
It's like alphabet soup. Like you're just hoping they line up.
There's not a lot of bad letters. This fish just went by and says, "Fuck you." What?
As much as I love alcoholics and aquatics, I was going to ask, speaking of that whole concept, Dominique had her first, hey, what snake is this?
Yeah.
With a mutilated snake.
Yeah, it's a dead snake.
Your story?
I had this one coworker, well, he's not a coworker anymore, but he like would text me pictures of snakes all the time. But this time was the first time that his dad shot the snake in the head with a shotgun. And I was like, dude, that's a rat snake. Like, stop fucking, and like, I literally was like, I can't really tell you what that is. Like, it's pretty dead. I don't know what to tell you otherwise. And then I was like, oh, cool. I feel like I'm in the club officially. Like the Dead Snake Club, where you just get that photo and at 2 a.m. But
that sucks.
Hopefully he's listening and his dad stops killing fucking snakes. Even though I've told him like 8 times. Also, Justin, do you see that people are saying that we're skipping a lot?
Yeah. I don't really have any control over that.
It's got to be like a YouTube problem then.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are on Facebook, some of them are on YouTube. So
Yeah,
Oh,
let's YouTube.
Facebook is the worst. If you're on Facebook, it has the worst streaming of any. Because even when Joe was doing his ground bites or whatever the hell it was when he was after doing from the ground up, his little 15-minute mini. So it's you on Facebook was just a lag city for me all the time, even on a great 5G connection.
damn.
Well, I'm getting those radiation burns from all that 5G.
That's how I got the coronavirus, man. That's how I got it. 5G.
Did you guys see what the CDC put out about? I guess about radiation protection information.
Don't get near it.
No, basically they put out rules yesterday or today because what they're trying to do is because so many people are unprepared for natural disasters and whatever else, and now everyone's watching the CDC because of COVID. They're putting out like public address statements, like don't eat yellow snow and stuff like that. Well, they put out one yesterday. It was like, be advised due to certain situations, please see our description on radiation disaster awareness and like seek shelter, don't eat outside foods, like stay in your home and listen to the radio. Like, what is this, fucking 1954? Like, come on.
Just wild, man.
Duck and cover.
What do they know?
Duck and cover. I love it.
Duck and cover.
I'm fully aware that like if the world ends, I'm the first to go out. I've got no survival instinct and really no desire to survive an apocalypse. Just take me out. Feel free.
You never watched Mad Max?
I haven't watched anything. You know that.
Okay.
She hasn't even seen Mean Girls.
What?
Don't make this
True.
What? You've never seen?
She doesn't even go here.
I haven't either. Never seen Mean Girls.
Yeah, Casey gets it.
Maybe that's the reason we're lagging.
Yeah,
The fact I've never seen Mean Girls. Dominique will meet up.
Casey and I are lagging.
Okay.
That'll be our podcast. It's us live
Just watching Mean Girls every week.
Mean Girls. Yeah, every goddamn week. Yeah, absolutely.
You guys are not fetch. Just saying.
Can't add anything to the combo.
No, I can't. Sorry, guys.
Shit, I tried to write a note to put up on the screen, but you know what? I spelled the word wrong, so now I feel stupid as fuck.
La Business says be nice to me, so be nice to me.
Oh,
Carly's gonna beat you up.
That is true.
Blonde spider monkey can't do a goddamn thing.
So going back to snakes, I recently got a bunch of labels from Cloud Forest Design. I had requested, because in Florida with venomous stuff, you have to have on the outside of the cage, you have to have an identifying photo of the animal, unless it's microchipped, in which case you have to have the microchip tag number on the cage. But it has to, by law, say danger venomous reptile. And then it also has to have the common name and scientific name. So I had bought a couple labels from Cloud Forest just to have them, see what they were about. And I said, you know what? This would be great if I put the anti-venoms on them and I put Velcro on the back. So God forbid something happened, you could rip it off the cage and take it with you. Okay? So I sent them appropriate anti-venoms for the appropriate species. And I didn't get all the labels that I need, but I just wanted to, I got like 15 or 20 of them to start. But I brought down the timber rattlesnake to show you guys if I can do it. So, hold on, it's glary. So you guys can see it has a map of where.
Oh, no.
You still it.
What happened?
I'm trying to.
Oh, there you go. So, sorry about the glare, guys. So basically, you've got the map, you've got some fun facts. It says, danger venomous reptile, has the picture, but in the very bottom, I put two different antivenoms. I put Anavip and Crowfab. And
Okay.
I put Anavip first because, let's be real, it's a lot cheaper than Crowfab. So God forbid there's a choice in the matter. Hopefully they'll use Anavip first. But this is laminated. It's kind of rigid.
Phil wants to be Crow-fabulous.
I do not want to be Crowfabulous.
Another shot.
And I figure I'm just going to put some Velcro on the back and then stick it on the cage so that God forbid something happens, I can just
take it and shove it in your pants, and they
put it
can
in my
punch off.
pocket, or just Velcro to my beard, whatever. Yeah.
Put a Velcro patch on your hat, and you can just.
Right?
Oh, dude, get the 511 hat and just slap it on there.
I thought that came out really well.
Matt does good stuff, man.
Great stuff.
I was about
He
to say,
just had another baby, so props.
Oh, yeah.
Matt. He just had another.
So yeah, if you guys have any thoughts about getting labels from Cloud Forest Design, I highly recommend it. And
Got them on all my frog tanks.
oh, that's awesome.
I'm getting some too. I got a few. I got the beta one, the snail one, and I'm actually gonna email about some other stuff because I just like them a lot. How big is yours, Phil? Is it like like 5 1/4 by like 2 or something like that?
Yeah, I would. No, it's probably longer than that. It's probably 7 or 8 inches by 2.5, maybe.
Oh yeah, yours is way bigger than mine.
It could double as a toe tag if you put all your information on the back.
This is true. Could work like that.
Yeah.
I like those things a lot. Cloud Forest, they make really cool. They're placards, signs, whatever the hell you want to call them. Because I've been eyeballing them forever for the retics whenever I get their final cages set up. I mean, the Super Dwarfs, he's going to get a slightly bigger cage, but the Sula, I want them to make a big one, like almost like a zoo style, like as big as that to go on. That's what
they do. Listen, minimize me for a minute while I pull up Cloud Forest's website. There you go. So what they're doing is Cloud Forest is doing metal, like tin signs, zoo style, and they're really big. I know, what's his name? Justin, the guy you get the Sania from, and he used to do Knobtails.
Oh, Jordan Russell.
Yeah, so Jordan Russell had a bunch of outdoor stuff for his hornbills, and he showed pictures of it, and they came out stupendous.
Yeah, they're really cool.
So on the website, he doesn't seem to have like product photos other than the actual sale stuff. So let me try and find the Instagram.
Hurry up!
I'm trying.
I'm gonna
While
go
you're
and drink really fast.
I was just say while you're doing that, I have a bone to pick with James Lewis.
Go ahead.
Oh.
So forever, he sent every episode of THP. He sent some sort of stupid meme that accompanied that episode, and I'm really annoyed that he's had Travis Wyman on twice, and he has yet to take a picture of Travis Barker, replace his head with Travis's head, replace his drumsticks with a spatula and a whisk, and put Travis Baker underneath it.
Wow.
That's opportunity missed.
No, he just like making fun of you because you don't know red velvet is just chocolate cake.
I would do it. I just don't feel like putting the effort in.
So Ryan, I got a question.
What's that?
So
Okay, we'll talk about that after.
that is the Vonderdecken hornbill, obviously you can see. But I don't know how big that metal sign is, but that looks phenomenal.
Looks like about the size of a license plate.
I actually think it's a little bigger because just obviously the bird in the background is set back from the sign. But Vonderdeckens are probably about 22 to 24 inches tall on average, maybe a little bigger. So I mean, you could kind of gauge. I mean, it's kind of a grip and grin type photo, but I imagine that sign's pretty good size. And there's another one here on Spurtheye. Or no, red-footed. So like that looks pretty good too.
Yeah, that's what I want right there.
And they have like really good, some kind of weatherproof coating or whatever you want to call it, because they're obviously meant to be outdoors. There was more signage, and now I can't find it. Oh well.
Those things are so cool. I love that. That's like a thing that Cloud Forest does. Because before we were like, we'll put some tape and write the name on there. Maybe for a fancy scientific name. And Cloud Forest is like, yeah, we found a niche that we could fulfill.
Oh, and I am smoking a Cohiba that Matt and Jamie got me, and it's La República Dominicana, but I don't know what line it's from. It's almost like a petite Corona, and It's kind of a Maduro, but not quite. It's a lot less oily. It's pretty good. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, that's natural, I think.
Natural, yeah. Justin, what are you smoking?
Roma.
Boom.
Aquitaine,
Him and his Roma Craft.
Yo.
Dude, I was looking around the other day. So yesterday, my route was like super short. I had like 80 something packages on it. So whenever I was done, I swung by the little discount smoke shop that's on my route that has a lot of Drew Estate shit. Like it's got lots of it. And I was looking around the humidor because I'm trying to remember. It was like a little Drew Estate Lucero I had one time, looking for it forever, and I can't find it. I need some, Justin. I need a man to be my plug.
You're looking for Lanceros in particular?
Well, that's just one I had that I really, really enjoyed one time.
But you don't remember what it was?
No, I remember it was Drew Estate because I remember I was talking to you about it, and you were like, "Oh yeah, it's a pretty good brand." And I'm like, "Okay, fuck it, I'll get it."
Is it those Herreras?
It might have been.
That Miami limited edition?
It might.
Yeah, I don't know.
It might have been because the only thing is like the only cigar shop that's like into cigars.
It might have been the L40.
It was. Now you say it was L40.
Yeah,
it was a Liga.
We usually carry those. We haven't had them in a while though.
That's why I didn't see any.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blame coronavirus on that shit.
Do it.
Coronavirus.
Victor asked me earlier if I had gotten in contact with Brittany at Ivory Exotics, and I have, and she's supposed to be working on like a flying snake article. I don't know.
Hold on. First off, is she gonna do like a scientific article on like how far they can fly, where she just stood on a fire tower and just threw them off there or something?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Really?
Yeah, that's.
Jesus.
Okay, Ryan, go back to my question. Let's remember. Explain the dwarf and super dwarf retics thing to me. How big do they actually get? Because I feel like there's a lot of.
How many people actually have those is the better question.
Yeah.
I had them, and then I sold them.
Okay. Oh,
So
man.
the super dwarf.
Hold on.
Marketing story. Let me know the real one.
Hold on. I'm gonna get a beer for this one.
Here we go.
Let me know what is real and what is fake.
Phil, you'll be happy to know that your scrub python left me a present, and it looked very healthy compared to the last one.
Good. Excellent. Glad to hear it. Hey, is he still giving you shit or no?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't play with him. He's in quarantine.
Okay.
So
Yes.
because I'm smart and I'm responsible, I work the quarantine stuff separately from my regular stuff.
Attaboy.
They get done last.
To be honest, it's smart that you're leaving him alone too, because I left him alone for like almost 3 months, like no real human interaction for like 3 months. I think that helped a lot. And then literally when I was like, all right, let's see if we get bit, I just took him out and he was chill as fuck. So
Yeah, tomorrow I might bump him up to this 110 just because my treatment is going really well. I haven't seen any. But like I said on THP or on here last time, like I'm not taking my foot off the gas, which you shouldn't do mites, because as soon as you think you're safe, they come back in droves. So
Yep.
Probably upgrade them a little bit.
Yeah, playing right there. I mean, just what do they say? Like an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. You know, shit like that.
Yeah.
But okay, super dwarf and dwarf retics. Okay, so first
Everyone
off,
put your learning ears on.
I'm gonna go on mute.
From all-
I can't even participate.
from everything I've read and listened to and everything, reticulate pythons are divided into one species, and there's technically the two subspecies that come off it. So there's Malaya python reticularis, I guess it'd be three subspecies. Malaya python reticularis, which is mainland. So that's like everything from, Malaysia, Myanmar, all those places like that. And then you get into Indo. That's where we get all like your Balis and stuff like that, and Sulawesi and crap like that. And then right off Sulawesi, you get a bunch of islands. This is where I don't really know the natural history of the area, because that's one of the reasons I want to go to Indo, to actually see the area and see what caused this like divide to happen. But there is Malaya python reticularis saputrii right off the coast of Sulawesi. So that's where you get the Bontang Islands, Saliar Island, and a couple other islands. They are these animals are called dwarfs, but I mean, we have seen some pretty big animals from these bloodlines too. I mean, Saliar, we're getting 13, 14-foot animals we've seen at times. And then there is the other subspecies, the Jampea dwarf python, which is Python reticulatus jampianus. So that's where you get your super dwarfs and dwarfs mostly. Those are Jampea, Kalatoa, Kayawati, Karampa, Madu. I think Tamalongan is another locality. So okay, whose map is that? So right there, you
that's
see
that's a world map.
It's my map.
Okay, so Phil has this pulled up. So Phil,
I drew it on a cocktail napkin.
Thank you. You see where Sulawesi is forked out right there versus Makassar? Okay.
Yeah.
On the other side, no, actually, no, is a peninsula there. Off Makassar, those little line of islands right there, those are the islands that go into the Flores Sea, which has all your dwarf and super dwarf islands on there. But they're really cool because, I mean, if you look at these super dwarf islands, which is mainly 3, you get Karampa, Kalatoa, and Madu. They're basically just reefs that are just, the water has receded over time where they can support some life. Those are where your true super dwarfs come from. And then the dwarfs will all come from Saliar, Jampea, Kayawati, Bontang maybe, which Bontang is something we can get into. I'll talk about that in a second. But the dwarfs, it's mentioned. There's a bloodline of Jampea called the Gaspar line, which has had animals documented at 18 foot long. So I say dwarf is a very loose term used there. Maybe those animals were fed really way too healthy, but still, I mean, like scrub pythons, like maybe an oversized scrub is the 16-foot monster we always hear about that scrubs can get to. But a big barneck is still a big animal. And I think dwarf reticulate pythons are in that range. They're still very large animals. And then
I think people are under the impression that dwarf means like super small instead of just like smaller than normal.
I know, and people
not pocket size.
It's kind of like if you had like a Clydesdale horse, like a dwarf Clydesdale would just be a regular fucking horse then. Yeah. And that's how I like to tell people. Like it's like a.
That's accurate.
I mean, best way to describe it.
That's good.
And then you have your dwarf horse, and so
miniature pony.
Exactly. Or just I think they're honestly just ponies because I've seen some super dwarfs, females that people have, like pure old Kalatoa bloodlines, like people who got them like from the importer straight up, like Dan Malerian, people like those. His Kalatoas are, 6-7 feet long, which are still, and they're it's like a carpet python. But those animals are very few and far between, it seems, anymore. I've seen a lot of people post pictures of my 100% super dwarf that's 10 foot long. It's an animal that, you have a 6 foot tall man, and this animal, they're holding it up, and the tail's still on the ground. Like, that's not a super dwarf, dude. Like, and I think I don't know. There's a lot of bad things going on. A lot of companies that are like, yeah, we have these pure Jampeas that are head albino, and it's like a albino comes from, I think, Malaysia, which is a huge, huge animal. I mean, if you look at what Jay Brewer's doing with his albino bloodlines, those are monster animals. There's no pure Jampea albinos. The only pure super dwarfs that ever have been anuthristic. And you can argue that the Saliar bloodline can have stuff like genetic stripe. But that also comes to the argument of there's also a skinning station on Saliar, so they were more likely to get the wild mutations saved on Saliar Island.
Now, Cox, where is Jampea? It's not in the South Sea, is it?
It is.
It's not on this map.
Saliar has the best chance tonight.
Yeah. Okay, so you see Saliar? Go down. See where Kayawati is? Right there's Jampea right below it.
Where?
Right below Kayawati. If you go to see where it says Flora Sea, it goes Bimba, and then to the right of Bimba is Tana Jampea.
Okay.
It's kind of like they will call a lot of them like Palu, so it'd be like Palakalotoa or Palakarapa.
Yep. Now, I actually had straight Jamps, and then I actually had a friend of mine. This is before Florida banned everything. He got it was a tiger Jamp that had Kalatoa blood in it, and he had it for probably like 3 years. He got it at like 18 inches long. And then at like 3 or 4 years, it was probably like 5.5 foot. And he gave it to me. I had it for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. And it was like 7 foot. And like it wound up passing away for unknown reasons. But I always wanted to know, like, that's a small snake for that age, right?
Yeah, and there's still animals that will be smaller just because I think a lot of the reticulate python community hears these stories and tales of, like 25-foot reticulated pythons. And so they think, oh yeah, it's supposed to be like, you see a post on Facebook float around of a guy with a 22-foot retic, but it looks like a sausage. I mean, you see scale separation and its tail looks like a stinger on a male.
Yeah.
So I think that's a problem. I've noticed with my Sulawesi. I mean, I feed him like most normal people feed a 2-year-old animal. Like, I'm not power feeding him. I'm giving him food like every 2.5, 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, just kind of vary it up a little bit. Sometimes I give him large food, sometimes I give him small food. But he's only at 6.5 foot long right now. He's very small. He's, he's this big around, but he's just long and he's lean. So I think a lot of issues, like, if you take care of your animal, like I think you would, Phil, it's probably a normal sized animal.
Right. Yeah, we assumed that it was going to be at least over 10 foot just because, or maybe even 12 foot, just because it had the tiger blood in it. Because, I mean, tigers are mainland, right?
Yeah, tiger is like, one of the world records was the first tiger bloodline Fluffy from Bob Clark.
That's right. I remember
Fluffy was like 22 foot and was always on like the Late Show. That's what got me into retics. I loved it.
Nice. So yeah, we assumed it was going to get at least 10, 12 foot, even as male, just because it had the tiger blood in it. And I mean, it was like, it had to have been like it was like 6 or 7 years old, and it was only like 7-ish, something like that. And it never had any kind of defensive behavior. It was puppy dog. It was one of the only retics that I honestly trusted, just because he was just chill.
It was probably, just, I don't know. I feel like we rush these animals to grow them too fast. And I've listened to interviews with people who've been around that area and watch videos, and you see people catching wild animals, and they're not gigantic, and they're large. They're like scrub pythons,
right?
But they're not, they're not
man-eaters.
Yeah, they're not man-eaters. They're not out catching deer and tigers and shit like that.
Dude, how cool would it be to see a big ass retic and a tiger like fight to the death?
Animal Fight Club. Here we go.
So funny, we were talking about growing up snakes big. Everyone knows about power feeding and the health concerns that associate with it. And yeah, your animal's going to get real big real quick, and it's going to have the growth spurts and whatnot. But I always attribute it to like those bodybuilder children. I'm like, yeah, they're 10 years old with 6-packs, but you're fucking with their bodies, And what's interesting is my boy in Queensland, Elliot, he messaged me what would be yesterday, because he's in the future, crazy, about supplements. And I had mentioned, what we talked about dipping pinkies in rapashi and doing the lateral cuts on prey items to aid in digestion. And his thoughts were a little different on it. Obviously, he didn't read it, and he hasn't talked about it like we have. But he brought up something that the elapid keepers in Australia are doing is they're basically soaking prey items, regardless of what it is, in mutton bird oil. And I guess there's something in that here. I'm trying to look at my notes. Mutton bird oil makes them grow big really fast, and they inject it. Excuse me, they don't dip it; they inject it into the rodents.
James Lewis.
And I'd never even heard of mutton bird oil. I don't even know what a mutton bird is.
That's like
it's something that they're doing. I don't know if that's a health concern or if it's something natural that, almost like just taking B vitamins or whatever.
Aren't muttonbirds the ones that live on that the island with the it's an Australian island, and some of the snakes get their eyes gouged out by these things? I think it's muttonbirds that do it.
Yeah, the blind tiger snake island.
Yeah, the black tiger snakes, yeah. And their venom is super duper toxic because they have to kill the birds quick.
It looks like a seagull. It's a seagull. They're killing seagulls and making oil out of them. That's some snake oil shit if I ever heard about it. No,
that is some snake oil shit. Here's some mutton birds for you.
It's a seagull.
That's a seagull.
Yeah, it's a black seagull.
It's a fucking seagull.
It's kind of cute. I won't lie. Little poofy poof.
I bet you they're tasty.
Little poof here.
Actually, why they're called mutton birds is apparently the sailors thought, yep, tastes like mutton.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea. Let's see what
I think we gotta get the oil out of them. You gotta like squeeze a whole bunch of them at one time and just like have a little siphon going.
I really hate when James Lewis messages me.
Hey, Billy's in.
Oh my
See
God.
now, yeah, I guess YouTube is what's having issues because everyone on Facebook is saying it's fine, but YouTube is struggling. Where's Travis? I gotta message Travis now and show him this.
Stupid ass meme.
Billy, stop talking about birds. Billy, go on your break and join us on your phone. There it is.
I heard Billy's going to start keeping pheasants.
Yeah.
Do it. Billy, I'll help you build a pheasant hutch or whatever you keep pheasants in.
Is it a muse? I'm just picturing Billy just walking outside and just sticking his arms out and just like eagles landing all over it and shit.
Yeah.
Travis Baker plays for the band Baked 182.
Oh my God. So stupid.
Baked 185 because you got to preheat it.
I thought it was 375.
There you go. Perfect.
Still talking about this.
Man, that fell really flat.
Do you guys think the people that keep all the giant tortoises have like people to succeed them whenever they die because these things live to be like 300 years old?
Mm-hmm.
They have like multiple generation wills of like, this is where my Aldabra tortoise goes after my great grandchild dies.
Yeah, I imagine they've got to have some kind of plan, I also imagine a lot of those animals, people don't consider that, and those animals go to rescues and or private sector, and
Dude, think about how many sulcutas get sold at an expo.
Yeah.
As someone who works for a rescue,
Holy
we could
crap.
not even imagine the amount of sulcatas we get called for, and we can't take them all in because we don't have the space for it because they don't get adopted out very quickly. And the ones that do get adopted out are the healthy ones, but it's the ones that have like incredibly horrible pyramiding and have never been given any sort of like UVB or supplement to like make up for that stick with us and we're stuck with and we can't do anything with.
They're the iguanas of Chelonians.
Mm-hmm. And we get those too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The what's funny is I actually, when I worked underground, we get phone calls all the time of like, hey, there's a giant tortoise in my yard. What do I do? And I would say a good 2/3 of the time it's go for tortoise. And it's like, well, listen, what color is it? Like, it's dark brown. Okay, it's a native species. It's protected. Don't touch it. Leave him alone. He's doing what he does. But every once in a while, they're like, oh, it's big and tan color with spiky legs. And it's like, okay, that's obviously not a gopher tortoise.
That's a Ninja Turtle.
That's a Ninja Turtle. Where's the green ooze? And one of my coworkers 3 days ago, he calls me up. He lives probably 20 minutes away from me. He goes, Phil, there's a spur thigh tortoise walking across the road. And he took pictures of it with his phone. It is literally like 150-pound spur thigh just trotting across the road, like 4-lane road, just trotting across. So like he walks over and he's a big fit guy and he picks it up by the shell and brings it over to like a baseball field and just like plops it there. And he said the tortoise took a look around and just started grazing on grass. And he said he walked back to his apartment building, went upstairs to get like a real camera to like take real photos of it. And when he went back, it was gone. So somebody either found their escaped tortoise or somebody jacked that turtle because they knew it was worth something. So
Sulcatas, fucking
yeah.
Good old Florida.
One time we had a lady call up, a little old lady. She was like 83 or whatever, and she's like, "My tortoise that I bought in my youth, it's dug under the house, and I think the house moved, and I need you to come get it." So we're like, "Excuse me?" She's like, "Yeah, the house moved." So this tortoise so this was probably in like 2010, 11, something like that. She bought it in like 1960, 1965, something like that. And it cracked the foundation of her home and dug down like 12 feet under the house. So we had this guy, Zach, who was kind of short. He was like, realistically, he's probably 5 foot, 5'2". And he shimmied down there like a soldier in Da Nang with a flashlight, and he saw this ass end of a tortoise. So they tied, I don't know what they tied. They tied something around like the main carapace and just started pulling. And they dragged this tortoise out, and a construction company had to come and fix the foundation. Right.
fucking sulcatas, man.
We've had the sulcata at the rescue. We had to build an additional brick wall around the air conditioning unit because he was going up and just hitting it so hard that he would break it.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. And Scott asked if, I think this is directed towards me, so if a tortoise is suffering from MBD, do we euthanize it? We try really, really hard not to euthanize any of the animals that come into the rescue. There's a lot of things that we can do to help them get better. And then luckily, a lot of the people who work for the rescue, will take them home. We have a few tortoise people or a few pond turtle people that specialize in those. Euthanasia is always absolute last thing we go to. And then a lot of the animals, we partner with local education centers and vet schools that we can give these animals to for educational purposes. And that way they can get the care they need and hopefully have a good life, even though they are struggling. But if an animal is obviously in distress or not able to be rehabilitated, we will euthanize them.
Thank you for that, by the way. Scott has actually joined us from the future, and I'm going to ask him if he'd heard of the mutton bird oil stuff, and if so, what is the lowdown on that?
He ain't gonna say a damn thing to you, Phil.
Yeah, I know.
He's in the future. He's fucking It'll take 2 days.
Never meet your heroes.
I met Joe and I hate his guts. So
Where is he?
Yeah, where is Joe?
I don't know. Probably doing Phelan stuff, like taking care of 300 corn snakes.
That is true. That is very true.
It's a lone man working his corn snakes.
I was like a week or two ago, I was like, Joe, how many colubrids do you really have? He's like, I don't know. It's like 260 corns. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, there's more coming. I'm like, okay. He sounded so defeated when he said it.
1,000-yard stare, just knowing what's coming for him.
Right?
He's pairing them up, and he's like, what have I done?
Why am I making more of you?
So Scott says fatty liver disease from mutton bird oil. I can imagine that. A lot of oil. Still want to kind of see how they get it. Milking birds.
I'm sure they milk the shit out of little tiny udders.
Right?
Just
like cats.
like that.
Yeah, Joe got 3.
Cannon, you got to get this Tanzania.
Okay, I'm going to put you guys down for a second then, and I'm going to get the little one.
Take us with you.
It's not going to look like it's not going to be YouTube friendly for me to like show you guys what a quarantine
What do
rack
you
looks
got,
like.
like dead bodies and stuff in there?
I mean, they're like tiny little cages that would not look good for like aesthetic purposes. So give me a second.
All right, go on.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, and Joe got 3 palmettos this year.
Did he?
Yeah, which was awesome. So proud of him.
Wow, that's cool. It's very cool.
I got chondro fever right now, man.
Do you?
I am itching to produce more, and I am itching to breed my stuff that is like 3 years out.
Set it up, man. Set it up. I was kind of hoping that our other colubrid friends were going to join in because I spent the afternoon chatting with Jonathan Lohman from Sunshine Serpents. Oh, Sanzini is up. Got a part of the roast.
That's a mandarin rat snake.
That is,
I feel like I'm free-handling something venomous right now. Like, look at the heads on these guys.
Ooh, pretty.
oh, that's awesome.
They're like this weird combination of like if an annulated boa and a Dumeral's boa had a baby.
So yeah, I'm holding my male and my younger female. The male's got this like really cool like greenish bluish hue to him, and the female's got so much yellow. Like, I really dig these. I think these are so cool.
God, that's a fucking bucket list snake for me right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's super awesome.
And Casey's, I know you haven't had yours very long, but are they chill as hell?
I mean, obviously, I'm not getting bit. So
yeah, Matt Minatola says his are just like super chill. Whenever me and Jay got to play with his up in Philly, they look almost venomous with their big old chunky ass heads and their pattern.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm like handling some tree vipers or something. They really look so venomous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you think about it too. Like, they kind of fill that same role. You know what I mean? That tree viper role. Because I mean, what they're is there? I don't think, other than hognose, is there any venomous native to Madagascar?
I don't think
The
so.
Langaha, if those
Kind
count.
of a strange place.
What's say it again? Casey, say it again.
No, I said Madagascar's kind of a strange place like that. Like, I was going to write a little bit of an article about this in the magazine, but I don't think there's enough research on it for me to actually be able to do it. But it's about how,
If you notice on like distribution maps, wherever there are pythons, there are no large boas. And wherever there are no large boas, or wherever there are no pythons, there are large boas. And
Okay.
I think it's because pythons and boas, when they compete in the same niche, pythons just completely outcompete them.
It's like a
So
Crips and Bloods kind of thing.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you see, like Madagascar, there's no pythons, there's large boas. South America, no pythons, large boas. The only place they really interact with each other is either in Africa, where you have the sand boas, and same way with parts of like Asia. I'm walking around, or you see where boas take over the niche of like vipers, where there are no vipers, like places like Papua New Guinea and some of the surrounding islands.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great thought. That's a great thought. You definitely need to compile some data on that, bro.
He totally teased us at Carpet Fest about that and another cool article. And then I never heard about it again.
Yeah, that
I
other
was super
article
excited.
needs to happen, by the way. The one we talked about at the brewery.
Freaking tease.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the one where? What was
about
that?
Dumerals. There's something about Dumerals and like convergent or divergent evolution of something.
Oh yeah, that was kind of what I was getting to with this. Yeah. But the other one was talking about how like the different islands you can tell. It was about the Weber's line in like that separates the Australian continent from the Asian continent,
Mm-hmm.
and you can literally tell like you look at the distribution of certain species, like you can tell okay, this animal stops at this island and this animal starts at this island. Like there's a line that separates Indonesia from Papua New Guinea, and it's like on one side of the island there are vipers, the other side of the island the other side of the line there's blue-tongued skinks, and they don't cross, and it's that way for a lot of different species.
See, that's interesting.
Yeah, what was that called? The Weber's line?
It's called a Weber's line.
Interesting.
I'm finding it. Stand by.
Oh god, you're gonna send me down a fucking rabbit hole, Casey. That's a really neat concept because you do see like those like habitat niches. They're like, if it's filled here, they don't cross over. It's so weird.
Yeah, I mean that goes back to a lot of like the species or genus of animals that fill the same niche as their counterparts.
That's right. No, there's
Casey.
another place called the Weber. There's like 3 lines. There's the Weber's line, the Wallace line.
Weber's thing is the dictionary, dude.
That's dictionary.
That's the Webster, but good try.
I'm gonna go get some water.
No, you're
I'm
not.
gonna put this thing out. So you guys talk amongst yourselves while I wrestle the thing.
Trying to find this. I found some great maps, but the problem is I can't make them big enough to really share. Hang on, guys. This is poopy.
Dominic, what the hell are you drinking?
I'm drinking an Aldi hard cider.
Aldi hard cider. Oh my god. All of these coming in clutch.
Coming in clutch. They're so cheap. I love it.
And
Also, I am kind of doing homework while we're talking, so I'm a little quiet.
God damn it, Dominic.
I just got to get my degree. We're so close.
Thank God I didn't stop up and say hi to you today. I was up in Florence today.
And you didn't say hi?
I was with other friends. They drove, so.
I'm your only friend.
Oh, okay, sorry, only friend.
What a dick. All right.
Yeah, we had to go to a phone store to repair my buddy's phone. They had to stay there for 2 hours. I'm like, I was just like, what are we doing here, guys? I'm like, you want to go to Petco, Ryan? Okay, I'm fine. Let's go to Petco. I'll look at ball pythons.
There was a reptile show today.
Was it
in
Cincinnati?
Cincinnati? Yeah. I was there earlier today. What time? Well, no, it was a busy day. Next time you're up here, you gotta tell me.
All right. Oh, shit.
If I may interrupt you.
Mm-hmm.
So Max Karl Wilhelm Weber von Boss, or simply Max Wilhelm Karl Boss, was a German-Dutch zoologist and biographer. Excuse me while I fix my contact lens. His discoveries as leader of the Simboga expedition led him to propose Weber's line, which encloses the region in which the mammalian fauna is exclusive Australasian as an alternative to Wallace's line. As in the case with plant species, faunal surveys revealed that most vertebrate groups, Wallace's line was not the most scientific biological boundary, blah, 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 blah. Tannenbar Islands. Rah, 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 rah. So, yeah, there you go. And I got a great map. And as soon as Justin gets back, we can share that shit. Boom. There it is.
Justin doesn't let you share. He has full control.
So, yeah. So, I guess one is reptilian, one is mammalian, and the other one I have no idea.
Yeah, so if you look at the Weber line right there, and you think about things like scrub pythons and blue-tongued skinks, they're on one side and not the other.
I'm assuming the blue tongues are this side.
Going to Weber's line, not the go on that one. So they live in those are Halmahera up there, Ambon, which is basically what we would call Molucca,
Right.
like over here in the States. So you got the Moluccan scrub pythons, the Halmahera scrub pythons, and same way with the blue-tongued skinks. There's some on both sides of that, but they don't cross that line. So
Interesting.
it's kind of like the cool little observations that people had hundreds of years ago when it comes to animals on where the two continents are starting to collide into each other.
Interesting.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Billy, if you were on here, you could get a snake out. Just saying.
Yeah.
Billy's over there being lame.
Look at me, I'm working.
Don't you have a cat to save out of a tree or something?
I just fed all my stuff today, so nothing's coming out for me. Sorry, guys.
I'm actually, as most of you know, I'm really not big on feeding chondros a lot. And I had some of mine out the other day when I was cleaning, Some of them are getting pretty chunky, so I'm about to cut them back.
I just want my green tree to start eating again. That female. She hasn't eaten in like 2 months. So
That's nothing. It's fine.
I know. She just lost a little bit of weight.
She's like an Apodora.
Yeah. I'm going to move her back to her old setup because I'm hoping that will help with her goddamn shedding issues too. Because she did that thing again where she only shed just up past her nose. And I got to spend
Did the Spider-Man thing.
Yeah, and I got to spend an hour and a half on Thursday night, like, peeling my snake, which is great. It's so fun. So
that's what you want to call it.
All right, bye, Casey.
He just probably turned his camera off so he could go pee. No,
talking to a ghost.
Bill, I did not tell her to feed it to an Apodora. I said it looked like an Apodora. Okay, its head was like this.
Yeah, because she had the worst shed head.
Yeah, chondros get like, even still, like I open a tub and I see a chondro that's going into a shed. You're like, oh crap, like something's wrong. Because they get like just so puffy.
Mm-hmm. Do you find that your males and females both have that happen?
I notice it more in smaller animals than I do adults.
So I'd only ever seen it with my male, and he got it without a doubt every single time he was going to shed. But then this one is my suspected female, and she had it happen this time. And it was the first time I'd seen it with her, and it was like she had like a wrinkle on the back of her head. She was so puffy. I pulled her out one day and was here.
Yeah, I notice it with my younger animals, like that aren't adults, like subadult down. I notice it, but with like my adult male, my adult female, and even sort of my 2.5, 3-year-old male, I don't notice it nearly as much. So
yeah,
I wonder if it's like a size thing.
Maybe this female is. I mean, I say female. I really don't know. This one is 3, and they had it happen. And then my male is turning 3 next month, and he pops up, and it looks like I threw a football on top of a snake's body. Like, he looks horrific. Scares me every time.
Yeah, they're pretty good at that. I got one that's supposed to shed like any night now. I think that tonight's going to be the night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't turn the lights on in there.
I don't. If I know, like, especially my Biak, my young Biak, the one holdback from my clutch, I've noticed that if I turn on the lights, that happens. Some of the other ones, it's not that big of a deal, but that Biak in particular, like instantly, lights are on, okay, I'm done. And it just doesn't pick up where it left off, and the same thing happens. And that one actually has some stuck shed on, like, its neck, but I'm hoping I won't have to hardcore, like, get in there and peel it off. But
is that problem child?
Weak, fragile little baby.
No, as it turns out, he's actually become one of the least problematic now that he's been problem-free for a while.
He just had some growing pains.
Dude, I had to feed him live for the longest time. And then, like, a switch flipped. Like, I started offering frozen thawed every time. Just.
Dude, the story of him getting stuck in a tube traumatized me forever. Where
oh
I had PVC in cage, I like silicone the ends of like perches and stuff. I put caps on them. I glue them. So ever since you said that story, I'm like traumatized for life from PVC tubes.
It's just one of those things where, like, if you don't think it can happen, it totally can.
Snakes are dumb enough to try anything. They really are.
You're goddamn right.
I had a 3-month-old retic that got itself. Hold on a second. There's a motorcycle that's going to take off in a minute. So I'm going to. I had a retic that got loose, like, away from me in my hand. Like, it wasn't like loose, but it got away from me. And it went into one of those metal Home Depot racks. And, like, you know how you pull and they pull, like, resistance? It pulled, and I barely tugged on him. And my friend was like, be careful. And I just watched that skin just go and peel off.
Like degloved.
Yeah, but only on like a small section of like the mid body where it was on the metal, like the sharp edge of it. And the snake, we put the skin, we put antibacterial stuff on it, and put the skin back.
Put the skin back on, and then put some like a glue stick, and was like, get better.
No, well, honestly, we had like antibacterial ointment that was sanitized from the vet, and put that like around the border of it, and cleaned it off, and put the skin back the best we could, and put surgical tape around it to kind of hold it in place. And the snake died the next day.
Nice.
So.
Nice.
Well, you saw that picture I put in the group chat where it was my friend found I think it was a northern water snake that had really bad degloving wounds.
Yeah.
And she, like with my work with the rescue, like we do rehab. So I was helping her like with what she needed to do, and she came downstairs the next day and had dropped 25 babies. Like crazy.
James, I am proud to announce I have already answered that question. So there's 4 of them that need to go.
All right, James, just because you asked nicely.
Yeah, drop the questions right now.
Yeah, we'll just Justin get on our screen share.
We'll do a line.
So Justin, go on his page and screen share for us. We can all just answer it verbally and make James do more work.
There you go.
And then we steal his content.
Exactly. We steal his content. We talk about it on here. I love it. Dude, you know what's crazy is water snakes are like the toughest little critters ever.
Yeah.
That's why they're so successful.
You ever caught
She's
one?
looking really good.
What's that, Casey?
You ever caught one by the tail in the wild before? They'll like death roll their tail off.
Yeah.
I've done it a couple times with we got northern water snakes out here. If you keep them like right on the edge of the tail, instead of like trying to flip around to bite you, they'll just death roll and like crack all the bones off their tail and just.
Dude, the freaking Jansen and I do that when I tail them, and I'm like, I have to like let go of the tail every couple of rotations so it doesn't like freaking snap their spine.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But you're like trying to keep them from, you're like trying to stop them from like falling, but they're like rolling, and so you have to like loosen their grip until they're like back normal, and they just. God.
Yeah, that's every single wild caught melanota ever.
I've never had that experience though. Thank God.
The Reptile Gumbo podcast wants to know, what is your favorite commercially available product, reptile/amphibian product, and why?
Mine's a Reptichip, 100%.
I like Port City Pet Bedding. Next.
I do like his springtail food. His springtail food is ridiculous, dude. My springtails go absolutely nuts.
I think Joe's Aspen is like better than the other ones I found available, but Reptichip is my go-to. But I mix it with Aspen for my colubrids. But yeah, just really I like Reptichip. I think it's convenient and it's a lot cleaner than a lot of the other ones I've used.
I think Phil and I are in the same boat. I'm a Home Depot herper. Like
Home Depot herper.
Yeah, man. Like I don't really buy the commercially available stuff. I go to the garden store of Home Depot.
So do you get the cypress bedding and then you put it in pan and bake in the oven?
No, because it comes with springtails. You don't.
Oh, there you go.
Bioactive.
Dude, you hear something crazy? So I do the same thing with my retics. I get the cypress bedding, but I'm weird and I bake mine for like 20 minutes on like 270 because it makes me feel better. And I did that. I threw it in the cage for my Sula. I go for and I'm that person, I spot clean the shit out of stuff. And just, it seemed like the moment I changed my bedding for my retics, they're restless, they're shitting everywhere, they're pissing all over the glass. It's just terrible. So I let them just feel comfortable and cozy. And then after a month, I'm like, okay, you get new bedding. And I found a literal disc from a plow in this fucking bag of mulch from fucking Lowe's one day. I was like,
really?
Yeah, it was a whole disc from the plow. It was on my Snapchat story forever. I was like, God damn, that's great.
Thank God they don't charge by the pound, right?
Dude, no shit, right? It was like 10 pounds.
So Casey, your pick is a Home Depot yellow label cypress mulch?
No, it's the blue no float stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm torn because if we're keeping it to actual herper stuff, I would say get hooked snake hooks. Obviously, I'm a little biased, but playing with all the snake hooks and snake tools that I've worked with over the years, they're hands down, it's tip top. And I really, like, as dumb as it sounds, I have fallen in love with that drawer puller. That drawer puller, I was like, this is the most gimmicky shit I've ever seen. But I'm dead serious when I say
that's hilarious.
I bought it and I was like, this is gimmicky as fuck.
You talk shit about that so much.
And dude, I used it more than any other hook in the room. Because even on, like, I use it on fishing cages, I use it on drawers, I use it on everything. I use it, like I was telling people about, like a shepherd's crook, like using it to touch key points of the animal to make them go in the direction that I want them to go. And then if I have to use it as a hook, I mean, it's kind of shitty to use as a hook, but I physically can. So, like, I would say that's probably my pick. Get hook snake hooks. Drawer puller.
I keep hearing Sally and the shit scared out of me.
Ghosts.
So what's the next question?
How did your trip there go?
Oh no, I thought we had more questions for James.
No, that was the question.
I thought he had 2 questions.
I thought there was 4 of them.
No, 4 of us need to answer 2 questions. They have, yeah.
I'm slightly.
Your pick and why. My pick was Draco and Python Portals from.
Yes, those are really good too.
It's good. It's good.
Dude, okay.
Good.
I am absolutely, and I told David this the other day because I talked to David a lot. I was like, dude, these Gonyosoma and these Boiga are doing so well in these Python Portal tub setups. Like, I figured the Python Portals would work for the Gonyosoma, but I wasn't positive if they do well. But those things are doing flawlessly so far. Granted, it's only been a month or so, but those things are doing really well. You know, with the mounted hides, like they're working great.
I have my crested gecko in a setup with the Python Portal, and then I also have one of my green trees. But they're awesome. I mean, all of his products are incredible.
Yeah, the perches that he made me for the Cambro tubs, they are so perfect, and the snakes use them exactly how you'd want them to, exactly how Brahms designed them to be. Like, they're perfect because there's so many perches that fit into tubs, and they're so close to the ceiling. And it's great if you have a chondro, but like my arboreal vipers, they don't coil and point downwards.
They're like Amazons. They want at least three points of contact.
They want exactly, and like some of them ball up almost like a rattlesnake coil on top of like 1 or 2 perches, but most of them too, they sprawl out. Yeah. They like festoon themselves in a canopy kind of way. So awesome. And James was asking again, excuse me, what snake hook? I was saying get hooked. Here is actually my custom-made snake hook specifically for me. And yes, it is very simplistic, but as far as I'm concerned, it's the only one in the world like this, which makes me feel super special. It's a 32-inch shaft with a lambkin grip putter as the grip. And then I actually need to take a picture of the hook head itself, but the hook head is a traditional C-style hook. However, I had the foot of the hook lengthened and canted outward, almost like a check mark. And I have a particular thought process to that because I'm very technical in my head in terms of, the snake technique and snake handling technique. So like that worked best for me, in my opinion. Here is another picture of me holding it. Look at that handsome fella. And you can see how
cutie. Is that on your Tinder?
No, it is not on my Tinder.
Gotta get it up there.
You can see how it's a traditional C, but the foot is lengthened and it's canted outward. Oh, and the tip is a perfectly rounded, symmetrical, conical tip. So it looks very pointy. It's not. I'm not going to stab or impale any animals, but
I like that.
I wanted, as much as I love the chisel end on most snake hooks, for this particular hook with the species that I intend to use it with, I wanted the conical tip with that longer foot right here.
Well, people don't realize too, like that having that sort of bullet tip on the end is actually really helpful.
Yeah.
Dude,
Because
I agree.
It's easier to get under the snakes with it.
Here's a little
like if you have to angle your hook more parallel to the ground,
right.
it's still it's small simple things.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, like I'm all about the chisel end of the hook. Like having a chisel tip is phenomenal for a wide assortment of species. But I find that really works well in a captive setting on a flat surface, like your tile floor or whatever. But the conical tip, I wanted for more field stuff and more arboreal stuff. So this is a little teaser picture from the article that I will be producing on how they make them.
That's going in this issue, right?
No, it is not going in this issue because I haven't
not
the damn thing.
Oh God!
Shit.
No! Don't say that.
What?
Now he's gonna be calling people for reviews.
If anybody knows who I should have for the industry spotlight, this upcoming issue, there's now a slot open.
Oh, well, dude, if I thought you had one already, that's why I didn't start writing it. Oh, well, then I'll write it. Don't worry, I'll get it done. We got like 2 weeks left. I got it done.
We do.
God, tension. Cut it with a friggin' machete.
James also asks, what type of reptile/amphibian products do you think are missing or need improvement in the hobby?
I have an answer for this one that I started writing and then I just didn't want to finish it. I think a pulse type thermostat that's less expensive for new keepers, because I think the biggest issue that I see in a lot of people getting into the hobby is that they have heat issues, and it's because of a lot of the cheaper, like under $100, $120 thermostats or on-off thermostats. You're not getting like the dimmer included in it. And a lot of people don't want to spend the money if they just have like one ball python from Petco. So I think like a $50 nice pulse or dimmer thermostat would be my answer.
I think Americans need to get on the outdoor cage train like the Australians do. I really want to do some of those because I watch a lot of videos from the Australian guys, and I'm not gonna lie, like that seems really beneficial to a lot of the animals. They have more room, they have the ability to sun themselves when they want to. The only issue I think I would have down here would be like stuff from raccoons. But I really want to do some outdoor cages.
Yeah, you'd have to pour like almost a concrete pad and like cement a fence into the pad so raccoons could not dig into stuff and get into cages and shit.
Because I'm not afraid they would eat a python. Like they would dig their way in and then just have a big hole so the python could escape.
Yeah,
right. And that's my biggest worry is like you really have to go over once you built it, like make sure there is nowhere for them to get out, and then regularly check if you're using wire or something like that it's not like rusting through or anything. It's just I don't like it is cool, but to me, in my opinion, personally, I think it's too much. It's too much.
I want to try it, but I know that there's a lot of. I also have that fear of like I know I'm a little irresponsible sometimes. I'm afraid that I wouldn't properly lock the cage.
Terrible answer. Terrible answer.
I know it is, right? But I know myself. That's why I don't keep venomous stuff. I will get lazy.
I'll tell you what, though, although most of my animals that I keep would be illegal for me to keep outside, I'm too paranoid to have stuff outside. I am. Unless it's native to Florida, I can't because
we're raccoons, dude. They would totally.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, but raccoons walked off with one of my mom's pond turtles, and this is like a 6 or 7 pound turtle.
Have you seen what they do to chickens?
Mm-hmm.
They freaking grab a chicken, pull its head through the wire, bite the head off, and then leave the body. Or if it's a small enough chicken, they'll literally just rip that shit through the chicken wire. Like it's insane.
Crazy.
Fucking little monsters is what they are.
Yeah.
See, I would
basically a giant raccoon. I don't think it's going to stop those.
Here's the thing: if they broke into one of my, if like for some reason I found a way to put my animals outside, they'd be like break into like the retic enclosure, and then I'd have to worm the retics because they ate a raccoon. Be pissed, like you know how much panic here? It takes a dose of 60-pound snake.
like a whole bottle.
Dude, I really think, which just till recently, because I was saying it's forever, the new, who's it, Zillow Exoterra Exosome micro enclosure. Goddamn, Mike, that's savage.
That's so funny.
Those little, they're talking about the little plastic ones for like arachnids and stuff.
Yes,
Those are pretty cool.
because here's the thing, I thought forever, because I was gonna get one for the decay snake when I moved in. It was gonna like have like a little like disc set up to have the decay and like the large size, but you know how that worked out. But I think those are really cool because it would especially like to keep like micro species, like little tiny lizards or little tiny snakes. Because you know I don't give a fuck about things with legs. You know, 8 legs, I don't give a fuck about that. But the snakes and lizards, that'd be cool. Little geckos or 5-line skinks.
They'd be cool little, like, I don't know how watertight they are, but they'd be nice little, like, grow out cages for, like, thumbnail dart frogs and stuff.
Or, hey, for you could tell people, like, hey, like what's a good tub for my first conjure? Because I don't know how airtight they are or the ventilation. But if you could, like, tell people like, how to make it halfway hold humidity, dude, imagine that for like a chondro baby, because everybody wants that cage they can look at.
Well, Dreamcoat Plastics makes like small setups like that, and that's what I kept one of my green trees in until she grew out of it. And I like theirs. They're made of acrylic, and they're really great for like anything small. And I think they don't have quite the price tag that anything like Zilla or Exoterra would. And I like that they're made of acrylic. It's just kind of nice because they're very, very light.
I don't know. I mean, like a lot of the stuff I keep, that sort of darkness of a rack really makes a big difference in terms of them eating and doing what they're supposed to. So.
I think with just juvenile snakes in general, just like it dark and secluded till they get their confidence.
That is an awesome dowel.
So that, ladies and gentlemen, I honestly have been thinking about making one of these for years. I first saw this watching behind the scenes thing at Australia Zoo. That is what
some paper towel roll holders.
That is what I've been told is called a pole pinner, and Scott just sent me this. That's one of his. I don't know if that's the real name. That's I was told they're called, but basically it's a pinning tool, and they make them in multiple different lengths where you don't have to fumble with the rubber band U-shaped, tool of a traditional pinner, or using the back of a hook, which is very rigid and can damage the snake. Basically, you could put this on a snake's body to make it pause, or you could put it on the snake's head to actually stop it in its tracks and, get it by the head, whether it's venomous or not venomous. But I feel like this tool is not crucial, but this tool would be very helpful in our hobby if we had it here in the States. And some people may have it, some people don't, I don't know. But I think that it has a lot of applications, not just with snakes. You could use it for a wide assortment of stuff. And Scott has corrected me. They refer to it as a jigger.
That's for you making cocktails. Get out of here with that.
Right? That's for mashing up your old fashions.
Exactly.
I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head as far as like things that are missing or need improvement.
Dude, we got snake sausages for God's sakes. What else do we need?
Like the fish people have. We need like better multi-spectrum lights and the ability to actually ramp up. Like I've seen some of the marine aquarium people where they'll have it like it's a morning to evening cycle instead of just straight like light comes on, light comes off.
Took the words out of my mouth.
Casey. I would like that, like for the dark frogs and stuff, have like a sunrise sort of setting where that light slowly comes on.
Hold on, I gotta show you something.
Same thing at night.
I've been looking at this
like $10,000 light setup.
Yeah, they have like I have a friend that has saltwater, and he has LEDs that cycle with the moon. So like depending on the gibbous of the moon, it casts the appropriate amount of moonlight in relation to literally the days of the month, which I think is phenomenal.
Yeah, I actually found a light, and I've been looking at it pretty heavily. For like my obsession with fish tanks recently, but also I was at the Newport Aquarium with Dominique, and I was looking around at some of the LED fixtures in some cages, and I realized the light spectrum and a couple of these reptile cages actually had it was a white, blue, red, and green LED.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to find this light that I saw. Jesus Christ, here it
Did
is.
you find it? Because I can just ask the keeper.
Well, I mean, it's probably a big light, but this is just something I've seen of a similar concept. Hold on.
Have you seen, Casey, I feel like you'd like this, the Neptune systems for reef keepers now?
I have not seen that. I don't really.
It's like an all-encompassing, like, tests everything for you automatically. It runs your lights. It has like a microcomputer that runs within it and like logs up to your phone, so you can be anywhere in the world and like check the temps, like check the protein skimmer, check all of your chemicals. It's insane. They are like more expensive than the fish tanks sometimes. The setup's crazy, but really, really, really cool.
Yeah, it'd be like the only way I could keep salt water, because I'd have to have something that would like automatically keep up with that stuff, because I would be stupid to forget it one day.
Yeah, here's a light I found. It's called the Aqua Illumination Prime 16 HD Reflight LED. So what this thing is cool, it is a white, a blue, a green, a ultraviolet, and a red LED, all incorporated into one little unit. And so the cool thing about it is they're about this big, and I think it's like 80 watts because it's a high power reef LED. But the cool thing is you can get cool plant growth. You got that. I mean, you can see the animals probably way better. You probably get way more coloration in your enclosure with it. And there's an app. Now, hear me out, kids. Hear me out. This app lets you have ramp ups and cool downs. So you can literally time it where you can start your light comes on at 6, and it's like a pulse thermostat. So you can have it rise up and have a peak at 12 and run your peak for 3 or 4 hours and then start decreasing till 8 o'clock at night.
Nice.
But the problem is this one is $209 without a fixture to hold it.
That's expensive.
I'm like, I want one so bad for building a cage, but god damn, it's so expensive.
I've also thought about going to instead of a 24-hour heater or a 24-hour like light timer, thermostat timer thing, I would switch over to a 7-day one, so you could actually make it so that, say, like, you can almost simulate a cloudy day certain days whenever you're trying to start cooling things down. Like, say you make it so that your lights only turn on for 6 hours on Thursday every week, and then the next week it turns up so like Thursday and Friday, and like change it up like that versus changing the exact time of day it turns on every single day.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, so a lot of my coworkers are photographers, and they have handheld and mounted lighting for photography that you can actually set the Kelvin, and they do a lot of like trick photography and stuff where the camera's on a tripod and they have a remote for the shutter, and they can delay the shutter time and then correspond the shutter time with the handheld lighting element, and they can adjust the Kelvins with their thumb or a remote or whatever. And I've actually thought about where obviously you're not going to be able to do with LEDs and produce heat because LEDs don't produce heat, but if you wanted to do like your cloudy day or whatever, you could program it and then have it sync up with the rain misting system, whatever, and that way you can literally have it get bright as hell at noon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon when it's peak sun time, and or have a storm come through, have it become overcast by changing the Kelvin, dimming the light, and then have it correspond with the misting system. I mean, this is something, but same thought process, but
Good idea.
that whole, literally, it looks like a little mini like tennis racket, and it's just like 500 LEDs, and then there's a digital button on the bottom of the handle, and you could just set it from like 1 to 20,000 or whatever the Kelvin thing is, the Kelvin spectrum, and like it, you can do different colors too, like definitive colors of the hues.
Yeah, and Thomas Irvin was saying that you could make that with an Arduino. You can definitely program that with an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi if you wanted to do like a microcomputer with it, and it's not too difficult to learn. And I think a Raspberry Pi unit goes for like $50 to $100 nowadays.
I think it's $140 for a complete one because I looked at it the other day.
Yeah. Okay. So $140 for the whole setup.
Yeah, it's one fully assembled for you.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean they're not expensive, and it's not very difficult to learn, or it wouldn't be expensive to pay someone else to just do it for you.
Well, what's really crazy is right now, because y'all are making fun of me for my fish fucking podcast, but there's one other day on a thing called the Felix control system, which is the reef pie, the fish raspberry pie. But this guy, he's made it like where he did all the programming and is selling it. So you just buy it, plug and play for him, and he sells controllers. So you can have like a salinity controller, a pH controller, nutrients for corals and stuff. But apparently he's also developing one right now. It was supposed to release in July, but he said because of COVID, his launch got messed up. But he's making a terrarium controller for reptile keepers. So it would be called Felix, and it was pretty neat from what he was talking about. So because he was talking about they were going to plug and play with Apple Maps, so you could be like, Phil could be like, all right, I got my Taipan, I'm gonna set it to Brisbane or whatever, and have it heat and cool to the cycles of Brisbane based off Apple Maps.
Yeah, well, that's what we had at the Sun Gazers, the museum. The Sun Gazers, we had the solar glow, like 150 or 200 solar glows, really, really powerful ones, up with the air conditioning unit, the recycling fan, and a misting system that we jerry-rigged. And it was all linked up to, I think it was a division of Weatherbug. And it wasn't specific to the region, but you could pick a town. So like we chose Pretoria, South Africa. And if it rained in Pretoria, it rained in the cage. If it got a cold snap, the lights would turn off and the AC would kick off. And like it was all based for indoor horticulture. So like if you're in the city and you have tomato plants in your kitchen or whatever, it would, and you had little sprinkler units, you could sync it up to this app and run it that way. But real quick, I was going to say, if I may, Billy said that his saltwater tank has dusk, dawn, moon, and moonlight settings, and he can have them on a timer. So now, Billy, is that all one unit in the hood? And then is the timer one timer to control all three, or does each one have its own timer? So, sorry, I just want to get that in there.
And I have to jump in and say, I got to run. I have homework due at midnight. It was a pleasure.
It was lovely.
I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Bye, Dom.
Bye.
Bye. I got to do piano homework, so I'll see you guys. Bye.
Oh, I pressed the wrong button.
Can people stop selling Halloween phase Amazon tree bows? It's Halloween phase Amazon tree bows.
What's wrong with that?
It's not real.
What do you mean it's not real?
Halloween phase Amazon tree bow, when it's a baby, it looks no different than any other garden phase Amazon tree bow.
I thought Halloween was black and orange as an adult.
No, dude, that disappears.
Really?
Yes, it is purely a selling tag. I just saw one on farm. I'm like, that is. People are gonna be so disappointed when they buy a Halloween phase, and then they're like, oh, in 2 years, that's the regular garden phase. It's Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't do boas. I can't.
I'm getting really into them. Like, for some reason, all the stuff I'm getting interested in right now are live bears.
Dude, live bearing is awesome.
It is. I mean, I've never successfully had it happen before because my blue tongue skink slowed down earlier this year. Actually happened last time I was on this podcast. So.
I remember. The I like them a lot just because like not because I don't have to incubate. Like obviously that's cool. Like you don't have to do that part of the job per se, but I like it because you get to really watch the motherly stuff, if there is motherly stuff. And like, I'm very eager to, in the next year or two, going back to friggin' cottonmouths. I really want to produce cottonmouths, and I want to do, because I've never done it personally, but there's so much maternal data on them from people in the wild, like going to the same creek every single day and checking on like the little nook in the side of the creek bank. And it's like mom and 4 babies. And like mom is just sitting there, the babies are chilling. And like they'll sit like a girl cam up and they'll watch the babies come out. The babies will look around and like bask. Mom will come out and like make sure the coast is clear, and then they all come back into the den with mom. And like, you don't see that in snakes. I mean, and if you do, it's usually by accident or unique species or whatever. Stuff like that too, like, fascinates me. I feel like if they dropped eggs and they walked away, they would never know. You know what I mean?
So what is your favorite North American venomous?
What's my favorite North American venomous?
Yeah.
Oh, it's tough. I want to honestly just say Florida cottons, and I've worked with westerns and like one eastern. Like, I don't even know if it really was an eastern. It could have just been like a good looking Florida. But Florida cottonmouths, I want to say that. But there's so much stuff out west that I've never worked with in the field, and like I've never owned personally in captivity. So like Arizona black rattlesnakes are pretty freaking cool. I've only ever played with like 4 or 5 in my life, and like they were all not mine. And I don't know. Right now, I would say probably Florida cotton.
I think the Southeast still has the coolest stuff. I know everybody's all about the West Coast rattlesnakes and stuff like that, but I gotta say, man, pygmy rattlesnake, they're super cool to me. Like,
dude, I love them.
Especially the North Carolina ones.
And dude, you saw that red one that was in the. Let me put it in the group chat recently.
I did. Noah Fields found it, I think.
Oh, is that who it was?
I think it was Noah Fields. Yeah.
So where was that? Was that up by you, or was that like more east by like Athens?
No. I think that was actually in North Carolina. I don't know exactly where it was. But.
Okay. Because like I've got friends that are like in Athens area, and dude, some of the pictures they've shown me are just red as can be. Just
I want to go find those so bad.
Dude, we got to do it. You got to do it.
Dude,
I'll tell you, I also. What's that?
I said I'm completely down.
Yeah. I also really, really love clobri. And I think that if I got more of them and work with them more, I think they might be my top pick. But I would say, as of right now, I'd say probably Florida cotton.
Clobs are what? Rock rattlesnakes and shit?
Yeah. Banded rock. I have a Franklin Mountain locality male that I've been trying to get a girlfriend for him for years. And like every time there's a window for me to get one, like this specific Franklin Mountain locality, I miss my window, or I don't have the money or whatever. And I was actually talking to Kyle about it, and Kyle had produced some this year. I missed it. So he's looking to have more in a couple months. And he's also looking to have a couple that he's growing up a little bit in a couple months. So probably like end of the month, maybe even on October, I might hit him up and see what he's got and try and get him a girlfriend. Because my snake is probably 10 or 11 now. So, but he says not to worry about age because they live like forever. And a lot of them hit their peak sexual maturity at around 9-10 years old. So,
hey man, we got 62-year-old ball pythons laying parthenogenetic clutches, so there's hope.
Wow. Is that true? 62?
Did you see that article?
No.
Oh yeah, it went viral on Facebook. There's a ball python from St. Louis Zoo that was supposedly 62 years old that had a partho clutch.
Wow. Did they incubate?
I think they're incubating. Yeah.
Like right now, they're currently cooking.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I thought it was because I shared it just to be like kind of like on warning to people who buy snakes is like, oh, I'm going through a hard time in life. I'm gonna buy a pet snake.
Yeah.
So it's like it's not good for your manic pixie dream girl phase, but I was like, just a warning, these last longer than your dog and cat combined.
Jeez. So, all right. So Casey says Carolina red pig. I say Florida cotton. Cox, what do you say?
I mean, I love copperheads more than anything. That's why I've never found any hot in the wild ever. So that's my goal, is to find a Kentucky copperhead. That's all I want to find.
You guys have that one locality. What is it? Northeastern Kentucky, where it's like this crazy barren purple and like slate gray purple copperhead. You know what I'm talking about?
I've heard you mention it a few times, but I've never actually seen it.
I gotta find a picture of that. Those are so awesome. They don't look. Obviously, DNA is one thing, but like if you put them in the lineup for like what is a different species, just by looking at it, it looks like a completely different. They're so cool.
Well, there's a really interesting thing that goes on in Kentucky because in like the formation of the Ohio Valley, like all the glaciers receded down after the ice age, and they pushed up all the knobs in the center of the state. There's actually like a lot of isolated pockets. Like we have a population of like corn snakes that are basically isolated from because of king snake populations all around them. And the king snakes don't come up on this knob, so there's just this super like I think it's like Hart County, Kentucky has this population of corn snakes, and they're really deep red. They're crazy looking. It's like it's an oasis effect, kind of like the bread light thing, where they're insulated on a little pocket and they just don't ever leave.
Yeah, that's awesome. What would I look up if I was trying to find that to show people?
I have no clue. Oh, for the corn snake thing?
Yeah.
I would maybe Hart County corn snake.
Okay, let me see if I can get something.
HART.
Go back to doing this stuff though. I feel like timbers are still so underrated as far as a North American snake.
I would concur.
Those animals.
I mean, it's like our nation's snake. I feel. You know what I mean? Like GAD flag and everything.
Metallica wrote a freaking song about it.
It's true, man. It's very true. Cox, I'm not finding anything that looks different. It's all looks like normal corn snakes. But real quick, since Justin threw that picture up, that's actually a cotton that I got like 2 weeks ago. I did not keep him. He's too big to keep. But there's just something about every single time I encounter one in the wild, like, yeah, it's usually the same thing. They coil up, they mouth gape, they get pissy. But then, like, once I start interacting with them, it's so different than other snakes. It's almost like they realize, like, oh, this guy's not going to eat me. I can chill out, but I'm still going to keep my guard up because I don't trust this big giant monkey. You know what I mean? And I just love interacting with them. I mean, and like this one came out of South Collier County, which is like just south of Naples area. And dude, like the bands on this, like for a Florida, most Floridas are just black and ugly. This thing just looked so good.
And it's so happy to see you.
Oh, it was not pleased in the least capacity whatsoever. So.
I love Acacia in general. Acacia are just so cool.
I can't find that one unique copperhead, but Justin, what's your pick?
Oral snakes.
Eastern?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy.
The American Cobra.
Which is funny because like I have no interest in keeping elaborates. But corals are my favorite native venomous.
Oh, I found it. I found it. So this is what I was talking about, that northeast Kentucky.
So he's about to pull up the timber copperhead cross from Kentucky Dermatology by accident. That is so fucking dope. What the fuck?
Yo. So that's it. That's what I'm talking about. Whoa. 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 Flicker. Stop.
What is going on there?
And that's pretty much what they almost all look like. Some of them have more distinct actual saddles. Some of them have a second set of blotches that run, the lateral line of the animal. From what I gather, the head is never really copper. It's almost that slate tan color.
Mm-hmm.
But dude, like, how awesome is that animal?
Dude, so there's probably not like a location.
There is. There's
or a county.
It's funny you mentioned that because like the guys
pull it up on iNaturalist.
Pull it up on iNaturalist. All right, hold on.
There's a lot of stuff on iNaturalist for like the Mammoth Cave area because that's a national park, so a lot of people go there. But yeah, dude. You might have just caused a problem for me. I'm gonna have to go road tripping. That's dope. Oh, it's so red.
Coronavirus. This is like Men in Black when he's spying on his ex-wife.
Oh my god! Oh, what am I doing?
I don't know what you're doing, sir. You've lost your goddamn mind.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
That's Georgia. You got to go a little higher. I can go a little up.
I'm trying to. I'm used to doing this on a cell phone, so hold on.
Bill wants to know why that cotton is too big to keep.
It's not too big to keep. It would probably do quite well in captivity because it'll have no problem eating. But I personally have a moral thing where I don't like taking adults out of the wild because adults are what make more babies and keep the species going, So that's just my personal opinion.
I just looked at my phone and I forget we have a 30-second lag on this thing.
All right, so hold on. I'm in Augusta.
Yeah, you got way far north, buddy. There.
All right, is there a way that I can change this to show?
Go up top.
Yeah.
Search bar should be a location.
Oh yeah, look at that. Okay.
The concept.
Jesus, Phil.
Look, I'm analog, guys. Okay, just bear with me.
Ah, shit. Here we go.
Look at this Google Play.
What's that whole section be blacked out like Area 51?
Right.
That's Daniel Boone Forest right there. Yeah, it looks like the Daniel Boone Forest.
Kentucky would have a national park. Forest.
We got that. We got Mammoth Cave. I think there might be one like out in eastern Kentucky in the mountains.
Trying to see if I can just find it on this version here. From what I gather, the guys that know where they are, they don't tell anybody. It's probably one of those knobs you were talking about that like is just isolated from everybody.
Yeah.
Because I mean, honestly, all these are looking pretty normal.
I think there's one near me. Hey, see that? God, I wish I could poke the thing right now.
Where do you want me to go? Talk to me.
See where it says Interstate 65 right there, towards the middle of the screen?
Right here?
No, up and to the right.
Oh, here.
Yeah, that's right about where I live. Anything cool? Anything cool up there? Oh God, Lebanon Junction, get the fuck out of here. Here, banjos. Nope, nothing cool.
Yeah, Bill, they are.
Now, you know what? Let me just do this. Let me go to eastern area because they were saying it's like up on like the border.
Okay, yeah, that's
like up in here, I guess.
Well, if it's on the border, it's probably actually more down. See down there to your right, those two little spots. It's probably in that area. That's where you get a lot of your really remote mountainous areas.
Trying to click it, it's not letting me.
That's because they hate.
Oh no! Go back in.
No, Grandma, no.
No, Daddy, no.
I can't stop it. Oh, that's it. I'm done. I give up. That's it. I'm out.
No more NFL.
I ran out of that commodity. But you guys saw it. Cool, right?
Boomer.
So I'm looking at the chat, and Scott Eifer's talking about how Brettles are a lot more widespread than people realize. I kind of wish you would come in and kind of explain that a little more. I've kind of got my own like little ideas based on some stuff I've seen. I wish you'd kind of chime on a little more about that. I'm curious.
Yeah, Scott, if you could join, I mean, I don't know what you're doing. What time is it there? It's probably like 11 a.m., something like that.
Midday.
Yeah.
Fucking lunchtime, buddy bear.
Because it wouldn't surprise me, like, since they really seem to be just such a river-oriented species, like, I don't see why that, like, little circle you see in the middle of the country is accurate. Like, I could see them following the rivers pretty far north or pretty far south, but just no one's there. Like,
yeah.
Okay, saying in the Hearts range. Where's the Hearts range? Look that up. Go back to iNaturalist, find the Hearts range, and
I'm definitely not doing that because I have legit run out of that commodity. iNaturalist is so much easier on a phone. And maybe it's because I'm using a laptop and I have a little mouse pad and not an actual mouse.
There's also a place, if you read the original description, they're in a place called the Granites, which is like way far north of where that little like stereotypical dot in Australia you see is. I found it. I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I remember listening to Morelia Python Radio and Mutton mentioned that. It might have been the round table you all were on. But yeah, he was mentioning that, and I was like, I was super curious about that. He's like, yeah, there's only one they found there, and they just stuck it in a jar. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like it's never talked about again.
Justin, I found another aberrant. If you want to throw it up. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I have a Southern that was a gift, and I enjoy him. He's a cute little viper. But, dude, this thing's awesome. I want this thing.
I'm going to call it the leopard, and if we can get 2 of those, say there's a super leopard, we'll be millionaires.
Yeah. And it's also kind of deceiving how big the animal is, because, like, you really can't tell how these leaves are. So, like, I've seen ones that were, like, 4 foot or, like, 3.5 foot, and they were exactly like that. So clearly it's not something they age out of. You know what I mean?
Oh, this is interesting.
Aboriginal land that you cannot get into. Okay.
I'm very well known for going to places I'm not supposed to be like that. So,
Casey, stop.
That's cool.
Dude, it's green.
The saddles are like outlined in like that rust color.
Yeah, it's very green. I mean, it could be white balance, but that's really green looking. I like that.
It's like
that Cox, that picture we just posted, the guy who posted on Flickr says undisclosed location.
Fuck off.
Yeah. I hate it when they do that. Like, you can't just say like the county, you know what I mean, or something. Like it could have been his backyard. You're not gonna say that.
I get it, but then I'm like you bugger.
Scott says, Scott says that it's Aboriginal land that you can't get access to.
Legally. You cannot legally get that.
Touche.
I mean, it sounds like somewhere like out here in the southeast where you go and you'll get shot for going, but you know what? The science is worth it.
Yeah, but here we get to shoot back.
That's true. Well, not if you're on public property. That's called murder. If you shoot somebody for trespassing on their property.
Oh my god. Somebody shoots you for being on a wrong place of public property. That's called they had a moonshine still.
Scott says there are no roads for hundreds of kilometers, so access is fucked. Well, that explains it.
Get to walking.
Now, I guarantee you he's right, though. They have to be following those rivers.
Yeah.
See, I feel like we're getting all pumped for this damn copperhead and jokes on us. It's some shit that dude just fucking did it the fuck out of the photo.
Yeah, jokes on us. It's actually in like Ohio or something.
Or it's a natural integrate of a copperhead and a timber.
Right.
Well, Phil, was it you who hadn't ever heard about that? And we were mentioning that in the chat one day.
Yeah, I think so. Well, because like I've seen the eastern canebraid crosses, and I've seen the southern copperhead cottonmouth crosses. You know, the cottonheads. But I hadn't seen the other one.
Dude, it's wild.
I remember seeing a picture of that. It was from some like museum or something like that, where they kept a timber and I think a northern copperhead together, and they had a baby. It looked really weird. It had like the little button of a rattle, but it wasn't there yet. Sorry.
No. I remember, Cox, you sent it in our group chat, and it was like a nature center. I remember it was a wooden enclosure. And it was copulation of a jet black cottonmouth and a timber.
Okay.
I remember that. I don't remember who it was or where it was. And I don't know if any offspring were produced.
Well, I know, I want to say one came from a Tennessee zoo that like got out of venomous, and so they gave it to Kentucky Reptile Zoo to take care of. And it's there now on display. You can see it there, which I've never been there, and I want to just go for one, but that's cool as fuck too. And, I just like, I think that it's so weird. It's such a weird cross to be cross-genus like that. But I mean, you look at Morelia and Chondro Python.
What?
He said, what? It took you a minute to catch that one.
I wasn't going to say a damn word.
Just he's on a 30-second delay.
I'm looking at corn snakes on iNaturalist.
What about the come?
Find me some pink rat snakes.
Speaking of iNaturalist, I was looking at New Zealand today. You guys know there's 5 species of kiwi birds?
Wait, what?
There were 5 species of kiwi birds. I thought there was just one.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know this.
That's actually pretty cool. Those things are freaking adorable. Here, I just found this. I wanted to talk to you guys about this too. This picture's very old, and another one was recently found. But how awesome is that?
Is that a coral snake?
That is a eastern coral snake from Martin County.
Oh, that's cool.
And there was another one recently that was the whole thing was yellow with black, and like the head was even just yellow, and there was like 2 or 3 little black lines on it, and that I think came out of Hillsborough County, which is like Tampa area.
Yeah. I see a lot of pictures of the Barrent coral snakes popping up. I don't know if it's just, like, since they're pastoral, they're able to survive with weird patterns, kind of like a lot of the pythons do.
Yeah.
And that seems to pop up more than any other, like, venomous snake I've seen.
Yeah, I would say that. I've also seen a couple guys that were showing, I don't know if it was some kind of like E positive or like leucistic cottons, because we have leucistic cotton moths in captivity that all stems from wild caught babies that were aged up. But these are people showing like 3-4 foot cottons that are white in the wild. And like you could see where they have discoloration from UV exposure, or like they have algae growing on them that we wouldn't normally notice. And like it gives like a weird gray or like a greenish hue to the sides of them. But that's crazy that a white snake survives to 3 foot long, you know?
That's cool. Do you see there was a yellow one with green eyes. I know I posted that in our chat.
I remember. I'm gonna find
like
that.
bright green eyes, so it wasn't an albino.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have fun. It is 11 o'clock. I have work in the morning.
Thank you for joining us.
No problem. Nice talking to you fellas. Y'all have a good night.
You too. Well,
Yeah, I gotta go too.
all right, so we're calling it.
Oh, we're shutting it.
I think it's time to call it.
All right.
Closing time.
Time to go to Chili's and chow down my fucking boy.
I was by Chili's Day. I almost took a picture and sent it to you.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back, baby back, ribs.
Oh, fuck.
Chili's, baby
back ribs.
barbecue sauce.
On that note,
On that note, we're done.
Good night, everybody.
see you later.
See y'all.